Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It's 3:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, September 10th, 2021. We're here to talk about the graph. Disclaiming, this is not a financial advice channel. I'm not a financial advisor. The video is for educational purposes. Click the subscribe and the bell. Get notified. Click the thumbs up. Let's let people see the greatness of the graph and share the video with your crypto friends. Twitter link below if you want to catch my intraday tweets that I do. Some are amusing, some are not. All right, so let's take a look at the graph US dollar. It is 85.14. So we're not doing too bad. We're still over the 83 cent mark that I had already mentioned on the last video yesterday. Now we caught a nice little downdraft here to the 78 cent range. Not too long ago, I put a video out, probably last week, where I said if it ever hit down here, you should be buying it. Certainly 76 was an area that I was thinking was a great entry point. And certainly it looks to be that way. It was sometime last week, somewhere in the last week or within the first few days of September. Now, we did hit down there. So if you got in, congratulations. Now, let's look at the graph relative to the Bitcoin, and the reason why I look at that is just so everyone understands the graph US dollar is equal to the inner strength of the graph. It is how the graph is by itself. And then I multiply it by the benchmark because the benchmark sometimes drags the rest of the market around, and it is truly a benchmark. So let's go back and take a look at the graph to Bitcoin pair, which is the inner strength. So we're still over this solid line here. We've been bouncing up and down. We're at, right now we're over at 1871. You know, the bottom here I think is 1800 in that range. Had fairly decent support here in the past. This is kind of looking like a diamond pattern. And, you know, if it does become that way, let me just fix this up so everyone can plainly see. This could be very bullish reversal pattern on the graph's inner strength. And we can see right here, I mean, drawing this stuff out is painful with a mouse. At some point I should invest in like one of those pens. Anyway, so that's kind of like what it looks like. Ideally, this would pop out on the other side in the manner in which it came into this. So kind of came in, swirling in on the left like that from the top. If we can reverse out the other way, that would be great. We'll have to see how this performs. We're almost back to that dotted line, which is a pretty solid line of support. It's been acting like resistance over the last couple of days. So we'll see how this pans out. In the meantime, let's go take a look at the benchmark. The benchmark is range bound right now, and it's okay. This pattern looks really very familiar to what we've seen when this thing started giving us hell in May, where we dropped down from the highs down to 30,000. Well, this time we dropped from 50-something down to 44,000 and change. So, you know, we've hit it a couple of times. Let's see how it plays out. If I take a longer-term view on this, it's very similar to this. We had this exact type of thing going on here, where it was range-bound in between here and here. So, you know, we could be very much seeing the similar thing over here where I'm circling my crosshairs. So we'll see how this plays out. But this was back in May when the sky fell out and we were bouncing off and up and down off this 29,000 and change level. Now we see something very similar here, except it's a much more narrow range, much less volatile period here compared to back in May. Now let's go over to, so I am still bullish, just so everyone understands. I'm still very bullish about my end of year prediction, which is 80,000 between now and the end of December. In the meantime, Bitcoin dominance, which should tell you how the altcoin markets will give you an indication of how altcoin markets will do on a relative basis to Bitcoin. Now we're still in this downward channel. As I've mentioned in the past, when you go into a right-angled triangle like this, and from the upside, from the top going into it on the downside, when you enter in like that, you're going to continue down that way on the back of that triangle, which is at the point here, which certainly we can see that in reflected in that channel, that downward channel. Now we're 41 right now. I don't think we're gonna we're not gonna cry about this. We're definitely catching a rally in the Bitcoin dominance pair, which could be negatively impacting the altcoins for a little bit. But at the same time, just remember, we're still in a downtrend until we have broken it, and that's how the rule of thumb is over here. So anyway, look, we're at 85.63, 85.62. We're still very bold. Like, this thing hasn't really gotten completely decimated. There's been way worse out there. So I'm very, very bullish, just given where the markets are. I think the graph has been holding up very well. Very key Web 3.0 technology. As I follow all Web 3.0 technologies, let's face it, it is the next DeFi coming to a store near you, Q1 of 2022. Anyway, take it easy, everyone.